Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm just going to show you the basics of Training Peaks, just so you are familiar with Training Peaks a little bit if you're thinking of getting it, or you've got a power meter and you want to use your power to better your performance in some way. If you've just got this program, it will come up on your first page as you're asking for your FTP, your name, your age and everything and so on. If you've missed that, you literally go to settings here and it will come up your profile, your settings. You can add anything you want. If you go down to zones, it will tell you your heart rate zone. So basically you put your max heart rate and your resting heart rate and it will come up with the threshold heart rate, things like that. If you go down, it will do it with the power as well. You've got nutrition, equipment, so you can change what bike you use and things like that. Once you've completed everything and added everything you wanted to complete, you just save and close, and basically you come up and you're greeted with this page. Now, first things first, Training Peaks is going to be pretty useless to you if you don't have a power meter or you don't have your FTP. If you don't know your FTP, go out, do a 20-minute ride as hard as you can, come back, and at least you've got a relatively good estimation of an FTP that you can use. Okay, once you've got that, for example, if you come back after that ride and your ride today, it will come up here. If you can click on that and it'll come up with this analysis. For example, what I'll do is I'll go to calendar mode and I'll do it with my first ride that I've done. So this ride here is the first ride that I've done with my power meter. So I bring that up. What you'll see is the time, my mileage and my TSS. I'll tell you what TSS is in a minute. Okay, so as you'll see here, my peak performances. So because this is my first ever ride, I'm obviously going to get my best times recorded in Training Peaks. Okay, so what that means is my best 5-second power, my best 1-minute power, my best 5-minute power, and so on. Every ride that you get better than this, it will also come up in there as well. So for example, if I go out tomorrow, I'll come on at this page again for my ride tomorrow. It will say, oh, you've done a better power wattage for 5 seconds than you did yesterday, and it will come up with peak performance medal. If you've done the second best, it will come up with the number 2. And if you've done third best, it will obviously come up with number 3. Now, if you want to look at this more detailed, you can go to Analyze, and it will show you the map of where you've done, and it will come up with this graph. Okay, so if you're going to smoothen it out a little bit, but it will lose some data because you've smoothened it out. So if you go to the W, which is power, you can hide others, which means all you can see now is your power. Okay, you can highlight it to see which, how long you've done, and it will come up as where that's done that as well. Now that's quite good if you're trying to find out your a specific time where you thought you'd done a really good power and you want to check it out. You can also click on others as well, and you can show this one. So this comes up. So my heart rate and my power has both come up now as well. Okay, if you want to go to your peak performances again, you'll see that your peak power 5 seconds or a minute or 20 minutes here. So on this ride I got a peak power of 258 watts. Now if I click on that, it will show me where it is. So this is my peak power for 20 minutes right here. Now if you look up here, you'll also see that this part of the map is where that happened. Okay, so this part of the ride is where I got my best 20-minute power. Now you can do this with heart rate, laps, peak speed as well. So you just click on them, you click on which one you want to see, and it will show you where it is. Page is just over here. So duration, distance is here. Normalized power for the whole ride. For example, if you go to power here, you'll see that my average power is 219. Now average power just takes the power for the whole ride, divides it and makes it into an average. Whereas normalized power takes into account every time you stopped. For example, if you've stopped at traffic lights, or you stopped to let a car go past, or you've stopped to get off your bike and put your lights on, that's going to take that into regards and try and cancel that out as much as possible. Okay, so your normalized power is going to be much more accurate to the actual power output that you put for that whole ride. Explain that is, if you go out and you do 280 watts for the whole ride, and you've stopped a couple of times, maybe to sort something out on your bike or stop the traffic lights, then that 280 watts might go down to 275 watts. Whereas your average power would drop way down to maybe 240, 230 watts. Simply because that stopping period where you did stop, your average will still recognize that as moving or just take it into account in general. Whereas your normalized power would be like, hang on, he stopped. Okay, because he stopped, I'm gonna not regard that as part of the workout. Okay, so that's normalized power. So if you look up a little bit, you can see your TSS score. You've got TSS score here as well. Now, your TSS score is one of the most important things you're going to look at here. Your TSS score stands for total stress score. Basically, what that takes into account is the amount of power you've put out and the duration you put it out for. So it can't do that unless it has your FTP. So without your FTP, the TSS is going to be pretty useless. Also, if your FTP is wrong, then it's going to screw up everything else as well. That's why it's always good to do an FTP test every 6 weeks or so, simply so you can make sure that TSS score is correct. Now, TSS score is so important because it is relied upon on these two features here, fitness and fatigue. Now, if I close that, you'll see fitness and fatigue is here. Your fitness and fatigue for each ride will come up on the top here. So this ride, I got 4 fitness and 22 fatigue. Now what that means is basically the ride that I've just done has increased my fitness by 4 points. Okay, I've gone out, I've ridden an hour and 52 minutes. Because I've increased my fitness by 4 points, it's also taxed my body, and that tax is regarded as fatigue, and so that's given me 22 points of fatigue. Okay, what that basically means is my body has become a little bit tired. What you've got to remember is fitness and fatigue are both weighted. Okay, what that means is if I go out and I do a ride on the 29th, that increases my fitness by 4 points and increases my fatigue by 22 points. I then have fitness of 4, fatigue of 22. Whereas if I don't go out again for another 2 days, my fitness is going to drop a little bit, and so is my fatigue. So if I don't cycle again for another 2 days, my fatigue is going to be 16 and my fitness is going to drop by 1. Okay, this little box here is actually a summary box of the end of the week. So this will always show what your fitness and fatigue is going to be at the end of the week. Now at the moment, fitness and my fatigue here isn't my fitness and fatigue for today. This fitness and fatigue is what my fitness is going to be like and what my fatigue is going to be like by the 24th. However, because it's the 21st, I need to see here that my fitness at the moment is 54. My fatigue is 50. Okay, if I don't cycle in the next 3 days, my fitness is going to be 50 and my fatigue is going to be 32. So the last thing you need to look at is form, which is determined as TSB. The abbreviations aren't really relevant at the moment. What you need to understand is what form actually means. Okay, so if I've got a fatigue level which is much higher than my fitness level, what's going to happen is I'm going to have minus form. So I'm going to have negative form, meaning that I'm not very fresh and I'm not in a good place to race. Okay, so as I increase my fitness, my fatigue is naturally going to increase as well because I'm putting more strain on my body. That also means because my fatigue is increasing, I'm also going to lose form. Okay, so a good form is anything from -5 to 10 points. Okay, basically what that means is if I've gained a fatigue level of 105, okay, I need to start going into a recovery week and resting a little bit. Okay, because my fatigue is so high and my fitness is quite high as well, but not as high as my fatigue, so I've got low form. Therefore, I need to reduce my fatigue so my form gets better. Okay, so you'll see here that I've done 3 weeks of quite hard training. I built up a fatigue level of 105 points. Okay, I also built up a fitness level of 47 points. Okay, so my fitness has increased quite a lot, but so has my fatigue. I then take a rest week. Now in this rest week, it's really important that you don't stop riding. You ride, but you don't ride to a high demand. Like, for example, a best way to recover is to go out on a bike ride for an hour or an hour and a half and just hold zone 1. If you do that, then you're not decreasing your fitness very much, but your fatigue is still going to gradually go down. Okay, that is the best way to hold your fitness while trying to decrease your fatigue. And by decreasing your fatigue and holding your fitness, your form is obviously going to get better. Yeah, so as you see here, I've gained a fatigue of 105 points. I've got a fitness of 47. Now, I took a recovery week. After that recovery week, my fatigue level decreased to 60 points. However, my fitness only lost 2 points, which is quite beneficial. Okay, how I done that is I didn't ride so much. When I did ride, I only rode in zone 1. Okay, that in hand has decreased my fatigue, meaning that my form has got gradually better, meaning that I'm slightly fresher. So when you're in peak performance, what that means is you're not in a minus form. Your form won't be -16 or something, it might be 5 or 10. Okay, the problem with that is if you're always in good form, then you're not training enough because your body isn't stressed out enough and your fitness isn't increasing. So you can't always be in good form, you have to be in negative form a lot of the time. How you ride and how you train is dependent on TSS. Now, how much TSS you accumulate each week depends on what your goals are. It also depends on how fit you are already. So for example, these guidelines here, you'll see that Cat 1s and 2s have an average weekly TSS of 770 to 960. Okay, this CTL is fitness, so how fit a category 1 and 2 rider is 105 to 120. Okay, so if you go down here, you've got category 5, they do annual hours of 200 to 350. Weekly, they do 3 to 8 hours, an annual TSS of 10,000 to 20,000, but a weekly TSS of 192 to 385. Okay, that's going to make your target fitness about 50 to 70 points. Okay, meaning if you go back to mine, you'll see that at the moment I've got a fitness of 50. Okay, my TSS is 400 here. The week afterwards, my TSS is 482. Okay, here you'll see that my TSS is 613. Each week you get a TSS score in your summary, and you can basically ride more and push yourself slightly harder if you want your TSS to be bigger, and obviously you want to develop a bit quicker. However, there is going to be a limit to how much you can cope with. Once you've figured out what kind of TSS you want and how much your body can handle, you can actually plan your own workouts. So if I come down here, I click on tomorrow, I can click on that and click on bike. What that's going to do is that's going to come up with this little page here. I can then build a workout specifically for that. Now, I always keep it in duration and functional threshold because distance always depends on the speed of the wind and the speed of other things, whereas duration won't change. Okay, so you click on duration and continue, and then you can then put a workout. For example, I want to work out for, let's say, an hour. Okay, So I want a 20-minute warm-up. That warm-up is going to be 50% of my FTP. Okay, already here you can see that 50%, 20 minutes at 50% FTP, or 146 watts is down here, is going to accumulate 9 TSS. Okay, so TSS, stress on my body. I then go, I want to be active, so I want to quickly do a 5 minutes at 80% of my FTP. That's going to be 233 watts. That's going to increase my TSS score here to 15 points. And then I want to do a 2-step interval repeats. Now, if you go down here, you'll see that my repeats, you can do it 4 times. Maybe I'm going to do it 3 times. Maybe I want to do it 6 times. I'm going to stick with 3 times, simply because I've chosen to do an hour's workout. So at the moment, hard 6 minutes, easy 3 minutes. Now I'm going to do sprint intervals actually. I want 30 seconds, and then because I'm doing sprint intervals, I want at least 225% of my FTP, 655 watts. Now, because the amount of time that I'm going hard is going to be shorter than it was before, I'm going to recover and go easy at zone 2, 60% of my FTP. So that's going to be zone 2. So I'm going to do intervals. At the moment 3, because they're going to be short, I've got a lot more time. So I'm going to put 8. So I've got 8 intervals, 30 seconds each, at 225% of my FTP, which is 655 watts. Basically what that means is you're going to go out, you're going to do 655 watts for 30 seconds, and then going to rest for 3 minutes. Okay, you're going to do that again for 8 times. After that, I'm going to get this and I'm going to put a cool down. Now that cool down is going to be 8 minutes long. So I've gone a bit over my hour limit, but that's absolutely fine. So now this has been built. This is basically my workout. It's going to accumulate 104 TSS, which is quite good. Now I've done that, I can save and close. Now that will come up here. Now, because that's a planned workout, this done 2 things. One, that will go straight to my Wahoo, simply because my Wahoo and my TrainingPeaks have been synced. So that will go to my Wahoo, and as soon as I turn my Wahoo on, it will say, will I like to start my planned workout for today? I can click yes, or I can click no, that's not a problem. Coming back to TrainingPeaks anyway, you'll see here total duration. Because my planned duration is 1 hour and 1 minute, you'll see here 1 hour and 1 minute. This hour and 1 minute is highlighted here with this darker blue bit. Now the more you've planned, the bigger this bar will be. So for example, that was my planned workout for tomorrow. Now if I go up here, you can see that my planned duration of workouts here accumulated to 5 hours and 14 minutes. Okay, so that's here. Although I planned 5 hours and 14 minutes, I done a lot more than that, and I actually done 12 hours that week. My total TSS score for my planned workouts was 435, whereas I done 838. Now, in terms of colors, green workout is basically a workout that I've completed, that's correct, and I've followed the plan exactly, or within the boundaries. Yellow means that I've gone either slightly over or slightly under the boundaries, and red means I've pretty much disregarded the plan completely. So sometimes what happens is, if the weather isn't great, or I just don't want to do a specific planned workout in that day that I've already set, then I can just ignore it, go out for a ride anyway, but it will still record the ride, but it will come up here as red saying I didn't do this planned workout, but you did do a ride. So if you see here, my planned time was 55 minutes and 35 seconds, whereas I done 56 minutes. So it's pretty much smack bang on. However, if you see here, my planned time was 1 hour and 26 minutes, whereas I only done 57 minutes. And for example here, planned time was 2 hours and 25 minutes, and I completed 2 hours and 58. So now you know about all the planned workouts and fitness, fatigue, and form. You can actually look at these in a different perspective. So if you go to dashboard, you'll see this chart here. So everything that I've showed you about fitness, fatigue, and form is going to be on this graph. Now, if you'll see here, this is fatigue. The pink is fatigue, the blue is fitness, okay, and the yellow is form. You'll see that fatigue does rapidly change based on what the work you're doing. So if you're working really hard and then you rest or in recovery week, that's going to drop really quite low, okay, quite fast. You'll see here that my fitness has gradually increased all the way. You'll see that it doesn't just go up because of recovery weeks and rest days that you need. Okay, you can never get fitness that just consistently goes up and up and up and up, because what happens if that happens is you're just gonna overtrain and you're just gonna kill yourself. Okay, so the best way to do it is just to do step up like this. Okay, obviously sometimes if you go on holiday and stuff, it's going to drop a little bit, but that is a much easier to recover from than if you're going all the way up with fitness and then like being forced off the bike. So you drop a little bit and then you come back up. You'll see here that where I've dropped and gone on holiday, my form has smashed straight through the roof. The reason because of that is my fatigue has gone so far down. Now in terms of form, that number there is good for race performance. Okay, so 10 points in form is going to mean that I'm going to do the best that I can in a race. However, what you'll see is because my fitness has gone from 49 to 42, I'm not going to be as fit. That's when a taper week comes in. From this graph you can see that I have greatly increased my fitness in the last 3 months. Now if you want to change it from 3 months, you can go here, last 90 days, you can do last 28 days, last 7 days, apply, and it'll come up like this. Now it's going to be a bit more steady because it's not as long, but there you go, it's the same kind of thing. From that graph, if you go down, you can see peak power performances. Okay, basically what this is your best ever 5 seconds within this specific time period. So I've selected that my date range for this is going to be the last 90 days. So from that 90 days I apply and close, and from that 90 days you'll see that my best 5-second performance was 1043 watts. That goes all the way down to 3 hours. Okay, if you want to see specifically what ride that was, you just click on there and it will come up with a ride, and then look, peak performance 1043 watts for 5 seconds. You click on that, you'll see here that where I've actually done it. You'll see right here that where I've actually done it. Now you can come back out of that. Another thing that is quite good to look at is your power profile. So if you look at this, you'll see that my 5-minute power is pretty much in a Cat 3 kind of range, so as well as my peak power for 20 minutes. Now that's pretty much all I want, the basics of Training Peaks for now. I hope this video gave you a bit of insight and a bit of knowledge of what to expect on Training Peaks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.